Hey y'all, and welcome back to Kate Miss. If you're new around here, hello and welcome. My name is Katie Marie, and if you're not new around here, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. Today we are going to be diving into a review that I have been itching and just looking forward to getting to share with you guys ever since it launched, ever since it arrived in my hands. But it is the Milan Rowe Poison Ivy palette, because this is a collab with Doodles by the Bunny, who, if you've never heard of her, you must be very new to my channel because I feel like I talk about her not infrequently. She does concept palettes and just creates the most gorgeous, not only like art work for the palettes, but also just palette design and like color stories within the palettes are always so beautiful. I've brought some of her palettes to life in my Duping a Fake palette. I'll leave that linked up here if you want to go see them, but I have featured her palettes on my channel before. But she was finally able to collaborate with an actual brand, and this is her palette called the Poison Ivy palette, and here's what it looks like in the inside. If you haven't seen it before, this is it. It is a green theme palette, and it is from a creator that I admire and always appreciate her work and think she does a fantastic job. So you guys know I had to try it. So I picked it up on launch day. I'm finally ready to share with you guys my review on it. If you're new to my reviews, what we're going to do is going to be doing a 3 looks, 1 palette type of review. So the meat of the review where I really go into the nitty gritty and talk about each of the eyeshadows, each of the quality of each of the eyeshadows and whatnot, or at least as many as I use in the tutorial. That's in the tutorial portion. So as I'm going along and applying it to my eyes and you guys can see me apply it to my eyes, I will talk to you guys about the quality of the eyeshadow, pros, cons, if I liked it, that sort of thing. So that's going to be the bulk of this video and kind of where I go in depth about the eyeshadows. And then we'll come back here at the end and I will give you guys my overall thoughts and opinions. I'll also share with you guys swatches on my arm, nothing too fancy, but I'll swatch it out on my arm so you guys are able to see it. And yeah, that is how we're going to structure this video. Before we get into the tutorials, let's go ahead and just give you guys a little bit of information about this palette. I am very new to Milan Rowe. This is the very first product that I've tried from them, and I've had a great experience so far with like purchasing from their website. Also, shipping was free. They had a deal where if you purchase over $40, you got free shipping, and my order was over $40. This retails for $39, but I threw in a lipstick that was on sale, so I was able to get free shipping, which you guys know I'm always a happy camper on. And let's see, I bought it on the 12th and it delivered here on the 15th of November. So honestly, really quick. I was surprised by how quick of a turnaround and delivery it was. That really did surprise me, so super happy. Let me know if you guys like this bit where I kind of go on and share with you guys about how my ordering experience was from the brand and then the shipping times. I don't think I've ever done it in a review video, but I just felt like it might be helpful today. So if it is helpful, let me know that down below in the comments and I can try to continue doing that in future review 3 looks, 1 palette type of videos. So yeah, overall a great experience with the brand. The palette is absolutely beautiful. She designed it really beautifully, and also I don't know if it'll be able to come across on camera, but around each of the letters there's like a glitter, almost like glue or something, and glitter placed down. It's not like a loose glitter, so like I don't have to worry about it coming off, but it is very beautiful and it is very shiny. They have ingredients for the matte shadows, the shimmer shadows, and the glitter ingredients all on the back here. And let's see, they're vegan, cruelty-free, paraben-free, gluten-free, distributed by Milan Rowe in Miami, Florida. Oh, maybe that's why I got here so quick, because I'm in Florida, up on the panhandle, but I'm in Florida. Remove pans before recycling. It's recyclable, 12-month shelf life. So yeah, all that information is on the back, and then here is what it looks like inside. As I said, there is a glitter. There's 1 pressed glitter, which I didn't realize before I purchased it, and I was like, oh. However, I will say, it's not the worst glitter out there. We'll get into it during the review portion of it, during the tutorials, because I do use the glitter and I'll let you guys know my thoughts, but sneak peek or a little bit of a spoiler alert, I honestly don't mind it. It's not that bad of a pressed glitter. But anyway, this is what it looks like, a nice variety of shimmers, mattes, and a glitter in there, but I love the variety of mattes and shimmers. I was really happy with the versatility I was able to get out of this green theme palette. So yeah, with that said, kind of going over the palette, let's go ahead and just dive right into the tutorials. As I said, this is where the meat of the review is going to be for each individual eyeshadow that I use in the tutorials. So if you want to know my thoughts on how the formula is for the mattes, if there's different formulas for the shimmers, how the glitter is, that's what we're going to do right now. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Alright, diving into my first of 4 looks, I'm just priming my eyes. I always like to show you guys what I prime with, just so you guys can see what the base is like and whatnot. I just feel like it's good information. And then once that's set, I'm starting off with that darkest shade there, and I'm packing it on my outer corner. This shade is so beautifully pigmented. As you can see, I feel like it shows up very nicely, even though this is just 1 dip into the pan, and working with it and starting to blend it, even with no other shadows on my lid, and a tacky base from the concealer, it was very easy. Then next with that green shade, shade. As you can see, so very pigmented. Laying it down, it just shows up very nicely. With this shadow, with most of the shadows in this palette, you're going to find that the first time I dip in and apply it to my eyes, they show up beautifully, blend out so easily, blend out so seamlessly as well, even with no other shadows, that I was really impressed. Taking that more taupey allergy season, I am using that to blend out the black and just to create a really nice, soft, seamless blend from the black to, just my, towards my brow bone and the outside of the eye look. And this shade is very nice. It's nicely pigmented, and as you can see, I'm blending it into the green, and blending it into the green was very seamless. Blending it down into the black also, I got a very nice seamless blend. Very happy with the finish that I got, and just how, ombre and almost like it disappears into nothing that this shade allowed me to get with my outside corner. I love that when I can get it in an eye look, and it was very easy to get it with this shadow, using it to kind of be that transition from the black to my skin tone and into the green as well. Overall, this shade surprised me with how nice it is to have in there, because it's a great kind of in-between transition shades between the colors in this palette. Once I put down a little glitter primer, I'm just popping down that first green shade, and this I am using my finger because when I tried to put it on with a brush, it was just taking too long to pick up and put down on my eyelid. So I just used my finger, not my preference, but using my finger definitely made it stand out and pop. And then using a brush to get a nice precise kind of half cut crease, I'm taking that pistachio shade, and this shade's a really nice shimmer. It goes on very nicely, had no issues there. I like how pigmented it is, adds a little bit of shine to it, nothing too intensely sparkly or metallic looking, but it is a very nice shimmer that was very easy to apply with a brush. So I really did like that about it. Once I finish my face, I go to my lower lash line. I'm just taking that first shade and I'm putting it right against the lower lash line, trying to stay really close and tight to the lower lash line. And once that's placed down and I like the intensity that I got, I'm taking that other kind of gray shade, the Ivy, and I'm putting that on the inner portion and blending it into the black, and just spending some time to get a really nice diffused kind of lower lash blend there. And those two blended so beautifully together. I couldn't believe how quickly I got that done. And then just packing on the inner corner. This is a very flaky shadow, so I use this sponge tip applicator because it made it just a little bit easier to apply, but it definitely has a lot of sparkle and shine to it, that shade does. And yeah, that's going to be the first look. I really like how this look turned out. I love the cool tone with the minty green. It was very pretty, very fun. And as you can see, I feel like the blend that I was able to get between all of the matte shadows and even the blend, from the matte to the shimmer on the lid, I felt like it was very effortless and smooth. Overall, it turned out absolutely beautiful. Moving on to the next look, I'm using my OG eyeshadow primer method, and then once that's down, I am going right into that green and packing it on my outer corner with a little packer brush. This shade is a nice intense color. It was a little bit softer on my lid when I did that first pack down than I see in the pan, so I went back in, got a little bit more, and bam, I feel like the intensity that I got there was exactly what I was wanting to see when I look in the pan. So once that was down, then I'm just taking that softer green color that we used in the first tutorial, and I'm using this in the same method that I used there, just using this in my crease to get some green down in there. This look is going to be very green focused. You guys know with this beautiful kind of green palette, I had to go all green for a look. So that's what I'm doing here and really blending it into my crease. And then once that's down, I'm going to take the next shade, which is just that lightest green shade, and I'm just going to make sure it's blended out as effortlessly as I can. This shade is so very light. It almost seems like it's not making a difference, especially on my skin tone. However, trust me when I say it really is. It does do a lot. It is nicely pigmented. It's just such a very pale shade. Moving on, I decided to deepen this shade just a little bit more because that green wasn't doing it for me for depth. I wanted it to be a little bit darker, so I'm taking the darkest shade, that black, and putting it on top. And something I noticed is once I tried to put that black on top of a color already down and not like on a sticky, tacky base, it definitely softened it out a little bit. Definitely something I noted when I was putting it on is it wasn't really wanting to, stamp down too much. So something to note if you're wanting a softer color, a softer black, maybe put the green or another shade down instead and then put the black on top, and it's not going to be as intense. Moving on to the lid, I'm taking that other gold shade and I'm packing this all over my lid. It's a very flaky shadow, so this takes a little bit of time going back and forth because I like my colors to be very saturated and intense. If you like more of a wash of color and just a little bit of shine, you could probably get this done a lot faster. You just don't have to work so hard to get the color there, but I like the color to show. So with a shade like this, I really have to take it in tiny little steps and pack it on there to get the color to show up before moving on to other sections. So not my favorite shade to work with. However, once it's on your lids,
The amount of metallicness and intensity that I see in my eye look is just so beautiful. It is gorgeous, very metallic looking, very intense and sparkly, and yeah, very pretty, but just a bit of a pain to put on. For the transition between that gold shimmer and the mattes in the crease, I'm taking that green shimmer there and I'm putting that on the outer corner and just using it, as I said, a blend between the two. It doesn't give a whole lot of like intense color to it, but as you can see, it really does help. I just feel like having it really helped the blend between the, you know, the gold and the green. So I really did like that aspect of it. It's not super, as I said, very pigmented, so it goes on top of a shade like that gold very easily and just kind of tints the look a little bit green, which is what I wanted. Anyway, moving on, I put a little bit more of the black in there because, as I said, it wasn't really popping as much as I wanted it to, so packing it on there, and then once again putting a little bit more green to blend it out just to give it a greeny look instead of a black. And then once I was finished with my face, I moved on to my lower lash line and I'm packing the darkest shade, that black or smoky black, right against my lower lash line like I did before, and then putting the green on top. I've already kind of talked about how these blend together. They're very easy to work with on the lower lash line because they are so pigmented and so smooth. It takes very little work to blend them in and get them very diffused and blended out on my lower lash line. And then moving on to my inner corner, packing this on, that very light Ivy, you know, champagne-y shade. Again, a little bit more flaky than I like, but it does give a very pretty inner corner highlight. It's very nice and definitely the kind of shine that I like to see when it comes to my inner corner, but just a little bit flaky and messy. But anyway, that is going to be the look. As I said, I was going for an all green look and I love the pop of gold with the green. As you can see, as I'm turning my head, the shine that you get with the shimmers, while they're flaky and a pain to put on, oh my goodness, they are definitely very pretty once they're on your eyes. And as you guys saw during the tutorial of the mattes, they blend so beautifully. I really did like this look. All right, next up for the third and final look, after priming my eyes with a different type of, eyeshadow base, I just tried to switch it up as I'm testing it out just to see longevity-wise if my results and wear time changes with the different eyeshadow primers that I use. But anyway, first starting out, I'm putting down, once again, that black. As I've already said, this black is so intense and so beautiful. I really enjoyed working with it. It's got such great depth to it. It's got such great pigment to it. It's just so very nice. So anyway, I'm putting that down and then I'm going to go on to that green as well and packing that right on top. As you guys saw in the previous tutorial, when I did it, I did the green and then the black, and it took a little bit of work to really get it to the look that I was wanting. So for this look, I wanted to swap it and see if there was any difference. And as you can see, it just took like one time back and forth of putting the black and the green, and I got the look that I wanted. I feel like there's a lot more depth and there's a lot more like intensity to it. It still looks like a really dark green, but it just, I don't know, it just took a lot less time. So it definitely would be my recommendation if you're wanting intense saturation with your looks. Definitely work dark to light. But anyway, moving on, I'm just taking that lighter green shade. I'm using it to connect here. I'm going to be doing a halo eye with the glitter. So this shade is really just to kind of mesh and blend it all together because it is going to be a halo eye. So once I've got that down and just using it to blend out and soften out, the other two shades that I put down, I am going to prep my eyes for the glitter. And I first wanted to put down a base because I wasn't sure how saturated the color will be. So I'm putting down a little bit of concealer just to make sure it's nice and white and bright. And then I'm using some glitter primer on top of that to make sure that these glitters stay because I don't want glitter in my eyes and I prefer not to have glitter all over my face. And then comes time for the glitter. As you can see, I already have my other eye done and I tried to brush on that side and it worked okay. It was just a little bit messy and it was looking a little bit patchy trying to apply it with a brush, and I didn't have a silicone type of brush, which I feel like would be ideal. So anyway, I just went ahead and used my finger and it worked really well. As you can see, tapping this on is very intense. It's very sparkly. It took no work to build up. I'm very impressed with whichever kind of like medium they use in the pressed glitter. It shows up so very nicely. It makes applying these very, very nice and very smooth and pigmented, which I really don't feel like I can say for most pressed glitters. But anyway, I'm just using a little bit of that green to kind of blend and soften it out because I didn't want this glitter to look so harsh, kind of where it stops. That's always kind of my qualm when it comes to halo eyes, is I feel like whenever I do them, they just have harsh lines where they stop. So I'm going back and forth a little bit with the lighter matte green and then the glitter and just kind of pressing and blending and whatnot until I like how it turns out. I really am not a master at halo eyes. I rarely do them. Don't ask me for halo advice. I just did the best that I could. And once I was happy with it, finished out my face, I came back for my lower lash line and just applying it as I always do, right against the lower lashes, keeping it really tight to my lash line and kind of connecting it back because I'm not doing a wing for this look. And then once that was down, I'm just using the lighter green. I'm just using the lighter green to kind of tie it all around. All the mattes that I used on my lower lash line for all of these looks were so easy to blend, so easy to get. I'm using a touch more of black here just to make sure I like how everything looks and everything is kind of wrapped up and blended out very nicely, but all of them blend so beautifully on the eyes. I'm always so impressed. So anyway, moving on to my inner corner, I decided to use a setting spray just to see if it was easier to apply and not so flaky and messy, and that was definitely the case. Like, I feel like it was just easier to work with. I feel like final results didn't look too different, but for me using it and having to deal with the flaky shadow, I did like when I sprayed it. I just feel like it went on better and just looked nicer in the end. So overall, this is the final look, and while I am surprised that I can say this, I really did enjoy this look and I was impressed with the pressed glitter. I had barely any fallout on my face throughout the day and literally zero fallout into my eyes or lashes, which I always get some type of glitter falling into my lashes throughout the day, which I can see, which always bothers me, but there was literally none of that with this pressed glitter. So very, very impressed with the quality of this pressed glitter. I think this is the only pressed glitter that I can honestly say I like. All right, so fourth and final look, I wanted to do an all matte look. So here's a little bonus for you. I'm starting out with the darkest shade there. Now I'm doing one of Annette's techniques that she uses for hooded eyes and wing liner, and I'm using it to kind of get like a full cut crease look. So I'm starting out with that eyeshadow, and I'm just using it to very carefully kind of like give myself a really big fat wing, or full cut crease, however you want to call it, and just fill it in very slightly before moving on to the next shade, which is going to be that green. And I'm using this to blend and kind of just give some color to the crease before I continue on with the look, and just very gently also bringing that into that wing that I created there, being very careful not to mess it up. This shade went over it really nicely, didn't really disturb the line that I put on. It softened the color out just a touch, but didn't ruin the line, which I was very thankful for. Then next I want to take Allergy Season. I'm putting that right in the crease. I thought this would just be a pop of something different in my crease shade and just a little unexpected kind of tie in the outer corner, so that's why I put that in there. Again, takes no work to build up, very intensely pigmented, very easy to work with, and once that was there and I was happy with that, I went back to the outer corner in that dark black shade and I'm using it to just line. I decided at this point, like, I'm not going to do any kind of wing liner, so I'm just bringing the line in just a little bit more to kind of give a little bit more definition and kind of just give that wing liner look to line my eyes before I go on with the next step, which the next step is going to be cutting my crease. And for this one I'm going to speed it up a whole lot because this took me so very long to do and it's probably so boring to watch, but once it was cut and I just had that half cut crease out, I'm taking that lightest green matte shade and I'm packing it on the first third of my eyelid and just spending a lot of time to pack it on there. This shade is very soft, as I said already, works fantastic for blending out and being that transition to like your skin and just getting a really nice diffused and like seamless blend away from your makeup. But I wanted to try it in a look and just kind of be the center of a look, so I'm using it here on the inner portion, and as you can see it's still a very light shadow, but using that white base, using that white concealer to cut it out, I really do feel like you can see that little hint of pistachio green. Once I liked how that looked, I'm going on with that Don't Be Rash, and this was a little bit of a rash decision because I was going to go in with a matte green, but I was like, you know what, let's change up and do something different, so I threw this on there. I still don't know if I made the best decision here, like color story wise and whatnot, and just being cohesive with the look, but it definitely was different and unexpected, and that's kind of what I was going for this look, so that's what we put down. As you can tell, the shade is so rich, like look how rich that is. It takes no work to build up that color and no work to kind of blend it into the black and blend it into the lighter green. I was really happy with it. And then after I finished out my look, I'm just taking the darkest shade there and putting it on my lower lash line. I feel like this is always a little bit boring because I am so boring when it comes to my lower lash line. I just do the same thing every time, but once that's all blended in, again, no issues blending these in. I always like to include it just so you guys can see how colors blend in on top of a set base, because I always set my under eyes, but as you can see I have no issues at all, and I'm just working to get a very nice and seamless base between all of the colors. And then once I like how that looks, I move on to my inner corner, and per usual I'm just taking that lightest gold there and packing it on, taking some time. Yes, it is a little bit flaky, but it really did go well with this look, really did pop and give me all the kind of shimmer and shine I want with this look, and that is the completed look. As I said, I don't know how well the color story is, but just quality wise, this review video is focused on showing you guys how these shadows work together, how they look in looks. I was super impressed by how everything blended together and how the final look turned out, and I really liked it. Still not really great at my full cut crease skills or my big fat wings skills, but we're working on it, and overall for an all matte look, I really enjoyed wearing this. This look was a lot of fun to wear and absolutely zero wear down throughout the day.
Okay, so those are all the looks that I did in my review on each of the individual shadows. Per usual, let me know which one was your favorite down below in the comments. I added a little bit of glitter, like a glitter liquid liner to the look right before sitting down, and lashes, which you guys did not see during the tutorial portion, but I did throw them on there for this part of the video. That's the only thing that's different. So at this point, let's go ahead and get right into the swatches, and then we'll kind of go over my overall thoughts and opinions. I am going to just do music over the swatches, and just you guys can watch me swatch it out. I try to be very transparent in my swatches whenever I go. I don't put any kind of primer down on my arm, and I always show how many times I kind of go back and forth, and also you're going to see me disappear off screen, and I'll come back if I ever have to re-dip to do a swatch. So let's get into that. Okay, so those are the swatches. We've done the tutorial. All that is left is for my overall thoughts and opinions on the Poison Ivy palette. Overall, what do I think about it? I think it's a fantastic palette. I think the quality of this palette I really have no issues with. The mattes definitely are the standout for me personally because I really do enjoy how buttery smooth they are. I really do enjoy how very pigmented they are, and I love how just easy they are to blend. The dark colors are just so rich and beautiful. I really do like them. The shimmers are a bit in that hit or miss area for me because there's those different formulas within the palette. You know, I don't mind these more, you know, just simple shimmers. I think they're really pretty, very nice. They go on very easy, no issues about that, and they're just a really nice shimmer. Nothing like metallic, nothing like crazy sparkly, but they're very nice shimmers. My issue a little bit is the more foiled or just flaky type of shimmers. Now they are more beautiful because they do look that metallic looking, sparkly look on your eyes, so they're very beautiful. They're definitely more eye-catching than the other shadows in here, but these two being so flaky, I don't enjoy using them. I don't enjoy working with them, and I do notice a little bit of fallout on my face throughout the day. So just depends on your preferences. I'm someone who I like all of the metallic look. I like the shiny look to my eyes, but I don't like it when it's a paint to put on or it falls on my face throughout the day. The glitter, as I already said during the tutorial, is not a bad glitter. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's so smooth that if you, I don't even know, if you weren't thinking and if you dipped into this, you would feel it and you wouldn't even realize it was a glitter. Even when you go to swatch it out, it doesn't feel like a lot of pressed glitters that I've tried in the past. Usually when you touch it, you feel all the grit, so it's oh yeah, this is a pressed glitter. No, this is so smooth, and whatever kind of medium or base they use to be, the medium that holds it all together in the pan, whatever, I don't know how to make a pressed glitter, but they have to use something to bind it all together. Whatever they use is incredibly smooth and very thick in a good way, if that makes any sense, in that it really does a good job holding it all together. Because I've also tried some pressed glitters that once you stick your finger in it and pick it up, trying to put it down, it just goes everywhere because they're so dry and there's all these little loose glitter pieces. It's a mess, but this is very smooth. Look how smooth of a swatch that is, and it's very easy to use. Of course, the more you use it, it's going to start to get a little bit, more sparse and whatnot, but if you pick up a good amount on your finger or on a silicone type brush and put it down, it's going to be super opaque and very beautiful. But overall, while I don't like pressed glitters, and I definitely can't say that, yes, I love this pressed glitter, I'm not mad at it, and I would, like I said, definitely use it again in the future. I really don't have any hard feelings about it, and I was very happy to see that I didn't have any issues with it getting in my eyes or getting in my lashes, because I've done that before with pressed glitters where I wear them, and then throughout the day I see them in my lashes, and I'm terrified that they're going to get in my eyeballs and scratch my eyeball. Nothing like that. It's so very fine and easy to use, so I was happy about that. Overall though, it's such a fine glitter that I almost feel like it could have been just a really metallic foiled type of eyeshadow with sparkles in it. and it would have like been just as beautiful, if that makes sense. And you guys know I prefer a more metallic finish. I prefer to work with metallics when it comes to my eyeshadow. So if it was more of a metallic looking eyeshadow that had like sparkle to it to kind of like give you, give you the vibe of a pressed glitter, I probably would have preferred having that in the palette, but like it is what it is. This palette is what it is. I'm getting very nitpicky here, but I mean, that's just me if I could pick my preference when it comes to this palette, because I'm just not a fan of glitters. However, like I said, for it being a glitter, I'm honestly not mad at it. So gonna move on from there. I hope that information is helpful, because I know a lot of people are like me when they see glitters. A lot of people are just like, nope, never mind. But y'all, like, this is the best pressed glitter I've ever tried. I'll leave it at that. Moving on from that, color story wise, I was really happy with it. If you're someone who likes green but you're not super into the very bright and bold green, I definitely think this is a green theme palette that you would want to have in your collection, because it's a very easy wearable type of green theme palette. They're more minty, they're more like foresty tones, I guess you could say. And also there are those tones in here that you could reach for that wouldn't even be that green leaning, like the more reddish brown over here or the gray over here with the golds on your lid, and it wouldn't even have any kind of hint of green. It does have a lot of versatility. She was very smart in the way she put this color story together in, wanting to take advantage of all the pans and not having any go to waste. And yeah, overall, I think that's about all my thoughts on it. I think it's a great palette. Did it like steal my heart? Is it going to be like one of my top favorites from, 2021 when I look back on all the palettes I tried? Probably not, but that's more so due to the color story, because you guys know what has my heart is like the really grungy greens or the really like lime greens, and this is more of like a minty, like I said, very neutral leaning green, or like just neutral friendly green, if that makes sense. So I'll leave it at that. Overall though, Milan Rowe, like this is my intro to the brand. I am super, super impressed, and trying this palette out, I know that in the future, if they launch a palette with color story that I like, I will be absolutely on board with purchasing it and trying it out, because I know I do enjoy the formula, and I had such a great time working with their formula. So I can definitely say I recommend the formula that I have discovered with Milan Rowe. I think they have a really great thing going, and I hope they continue it in future palettes. So yeah, at this point, I think that is everything that I wanted to share in this video, in this Poison Ivy review video. I hope it was helpful for you guys. As always, I just try to make sure that these videos have as much information as I'm able to give you guys, so you're able to make informed decisions when it comes to purchasing this palette. But let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think about this palette, and if you have been following Doodles by the Bunny, you'll have to tell me if you can think of one palette that you absolutely love from her. Which is it? Let me know down below. I feel like I tend to absolutely drool over her Urban Decay Naked lines. I feel like those tend to be my favorite color stories from her, although she also does like 9-pan palettes that I absolutely love as well. So anyway, if you can think of a favorite that you've seen from her, let me know your thoughts down below, because she is definitely a very talented person and definitely deserves a lot more follows and a lot more loves over on Instagram. And I'm just so happy that she got this opportunity, and hope this is the beginning of many more, because she definitely has such a talent when it comes to color story, artwork, all that sort of thing. But yeah, that is going to do it for my review for this video. I hope it was helpful once again. And if you aren't following me over on Instagram, I'm over there. I'm LadyKatie92, and I post reels, up close eye pictures, all that sort of thing. You can find me over there if you want to follow me. And I also kind of share a little bit about my personal day with my kids and whatnot in my Instagram stories, if you like that sort of thing. Do a lot of cooking and gardening and homeschooling. That's kind of been the theme of my stories, because that's been the theme of my life recently. But anyway, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.